what do you think about using like social media? How should that be supplementing their business as well? Tiago, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm so glad that you reached out. I think this is going to be quite the interesting discussion. I know that your area of expertise is something that I have always felt somewhat mystified by. So I look forward to demystifying it for the audience and like really diving into analytics and SEO and stuff like that. But maybe we should start from the beginning and chat a little bit about your experience working for Google.
Yes, Mary, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here, a pleasure. I hope people that will listen to it will get some value out of this. So my story at Google, I started in 2011. I first made my master's degree in Manchester, United Kingdom. It was a random choice I made about strategic consumer marketing. But then my tutor, he was a 73-year-old man called Adrian Thomas, and he said, you should go to digital. You should pay attention to digital marketing. And so I changed completely my final thesis to reflect what I wanted at the time, which was Google search engine impact in the UK's consumer perceptions, etc. And it started right there. The bug was already clogged into me, and came back to Portugal. And then I wanted to go. It's the holy grail is to go to Google, so I'm going to do everything I can. So I reached out to my network, see who knows someone that works there, and I found out someone whose boyfriend knew someone's boyfriend working there, and I made a cool CV. I like design, so I made my CV as if it was a Google search of my name, and then the search results were my experience and academic background. It somehow captured the attention of a recruiter there.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and then I managed to go there in 2011. Super fun, right? 8 years there. Yeah, incredible. Had a chance to work with some of the biggest European companies. It was in Dublin, Ireland, so the European headquarters.
Oh, cool.
And some of the biggest Middle Eastern companies. But at some point, I got a bit tired of corporate world. It was 8 years, very intense.
Did you ever and also to come to San Francisco and see the Google campus here?
Yes, in Mountain View. In Mountain View is the biggest campus. It's like crazy. It's a city, a city inside of a city.
Was the one in Dublin kind of similar? Like, did they have similar amenities with like the cafeteria and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. It was just not that massive. So they didn't have the bikes for you to move between buildings. So the buildings were all together in Dublin. It was very close by. It's a different world. Mountain View. It's a different, completely universe. But yeah, it was very fun. But yeah, I started getting tired of it. Being overly focused on one Google product. And at the time, Facebook ads were growing like crazy, like 2012, 13. So I was willing to start using more of my creativity and in different sides of businesses. And I was also getting tired of feeding the big corporations. So then I decided to come back to Portugal to start helping smaller businesses and entrepreneurs with everything I acquired, all the knowledge and experience I acquired. It was mostly focused on Google Ads that I focused when I was working there.
Yeah, and if you could maybe just give some like an explanation, because I feel like SEO and Google Ads are so complicated, and maybe that's just how it seems, but if you could give like a breakdown of what it is, how it works, just so people can understand. Like, even for myself, I just feel like it's this like big concept to me that I don't understand how to use applicably.
Yeah, exactly. I started with that, ads and SEO, but I actually don't recommend people to start there. We can go get there after in a bit, because of the complexity of it all, right? So it's not the ideal scenario for you to start a business around that. It's something that you can add on later on once you hit the ground running and you have already a proven offer that it works, it converts. I know the lifetime value of my client, so. For me, that's for a later stage. But anyway, so Google Ads is basically, when people are searching for something about your topic, or if you have a local business, like a coffee shop in New York or something, something like that, and it's easier for you to show up on the first results by paying, right, by pay per click, right? So it's like an auction where you compete with others through your the amount you're willing to pay, and also the relevancy of what you're showing to the users based on their searches. So that's the fastest path, and many businesses use that because
So like
people that are
if you pay like the highest tier, then your business will show up at the top of the Google search result.
It doesn't guarantee it. No, it's more likely that it will show up. But there are other algorithmic factors that are taken into consideration. Not just how much you're willing to pay, but also the relevancy of what you're showing the user based on what they search for. The quality of your website, the historic of your website, like how many links are pointing to you. So there's a lot of different algorithmic factors that are taken into consideration. But yeah, the Google Ads are fastest path for that, and many companies use that, like dentists, local businesses mostly. They want to show up when someone searches for the local words. That's what mostly is used, Google Ads. Also for, it's also very good for, because people that are searching proactively, they already want a solution for their problem. They're quite ahead in their customer awareness. They know they have a problem. They already know a solution, so they're actually looking for like the best option in the market, or they're searching for a specific option they want to buy, so they're ready to buy. That's why Google Ads is very interesting in that sense, to capture those clients that are ready to buy and they're just looking for the best option or one specific option. And then in the part of the SEO, that's kind of a different game. Is more about you creating content that is relevant for the users, what they're looking for. For example, how to do something specific, right? And you would show up there, imagining you're a brand that sells, how would you say, like mountaining equipment, and people searching for like what is the best tracking. I don't know how to say it, like path in a specific area in New York or in America, right? So you want to be appearing there because those users are interested in climbing or trekking, whatever. And what will they also be interested in? Buying equipment for that kind of adventure and sport. So in that game is a bit more about like how much content can you create, what the quality of the content can you create, and answering all the questions people have around your specific topic. So there are ways for you to make a keyword research, analyze what the actual words people are using, what's the search volume for each of those phrases, and then you basically just have to create content around all of those. And the more blog posts you create around all the specific subtopics on your area, the more Google will reward you for, this guy is a content partner. I will reward him with more eyes, right? More people, more visitors to your website. And there's also lots of things you can do on SEO. Yeah, but that's basically
So for example, if you're selling a product or a service versus like if you're a blog, those two, you would be wanting to use, would you be using like Google Ads for your business if you sell a product or service, and then you'd want to focus more on search engine optimization if you're like a blog, or both?
You could do both. Yes, most smaller businesses prefer the fastest path, which is paying for it, right? Pay to play. While others prefer the slower path, but which is also the most rewarding, because every blog post you create, after a while, and it starts having traffic for basically a lifetime, as long as you don't do any weird things or don't do any illegal things on your website. But yes, like the goal is, the more content you create is like assets you're creating that will be giving you traffic for a lifetime. That's the major difference.
So as a small business, they would come to somebody like you to help them with Google Ads to promote their business.
No, I'm actually not focused on that anymore. That was the part of my life of Google. I came back to Portugal. I still did some Google consultancy around Google Ads, Google My Business. But then I started figuring out slowly what is who I actually want to work with. So that's one of the things that I also like to. One of the first things that I do with every client that I work with is to decide, okay, who is your specific niche, right? Like who's the specific person you want to really help, and what is the specific problem you're trying to solve. And for me, it was not. I figured out it was not like helping small businesses or local businesses with their presence on Google. I figured out I wanted to help people that are trying to sell their knowledge, adding value to the world through helping people solve problems. And that's how I, slowly started going to the coaching path. I was complicating my life too much because, as I said at the beginning, the path of Google Ads and SEO, and it's very complex. It's very
Yeah.
complex for someone who's starting out. So I was making my life and my clients' lives very hard. I was having some, good goal, hitting some good, good goals, but most of the time I was hitting against a brick wall. Because of that, I was complicating things with funnels and ads and SEO, and it's very hard strategies to follow up at the beginning. And I started simplifying my approach. Okay, in the last 3 years, for 3 years. Okay, how can I simplify this approach so that the people I want to help have the fastest path to growth and the easiest path to growth? And so I figured out that it's actually possible for you to grow a business around, like, in the help industry, like as a coach, mentor, consultant. This is more my specialization area. It's possible for you to build a really good business only using what you currently have in your world now. That's my anti-marketing approach. Is basically you already have everything you need in your world. Okay, basically you have a contact list of previous clients or leads you've talked to, or friends, acquaintances. You most likely have an audience already of some sort, like on your social media, and you also have a network of influential people that you like, you follow, you connect with, and that's enough usually for you to start a very interesting business. You just need to make some tweaks in the way you position your offer and in the way you talk to the people around you. Yeah.
Could you give an example of what that would look like, how you would tweak what you already are doing to be more successful and more useful?
Yeah, so for sure, as I said at the beginning, it's crucial for you to decide first who is the person and the problem you're trying to help solve, right? That is very crucial to be super specific in that, because if you're trying to help everyone around you, it doesn't resonate with almost anyone, and it's going to be hard for you to get clients. So that's the first thing, to be very specific. Like, instead of saying I'm a relationship coach, no, you say you try to be as specific as possible and say something like I help single moms, that are work at C-levels, improve their relationship with their adolescent, like teenager kid. So that's specific, because the more specific you are, the more it will resonate to that group of people, right? They will be super identified with you, and they will feel like, this is the guy that I want to work with. He really understands me.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we have this tendency of trying to help everyone when we go to this, come into this online world, which is a mistake that I fell into. But once you start doing that, okay, everything opens up. Now you know who you're helping and what actually they need to be helped with. So the first approach I do in my anti-marketing method is, okay, so you decide who you want to help. Now, instead of being in your mind and trying to create something that you think people need, no, you go talk to people. That's the first step. Is like, if you look at 3, 5, 10 people that you think are your new niche, right? Your new specific target audience, and you ask them questions, interview them easily, and ask, so how are your main frustrations? How does your day-to-day look like? How do you feel? What are your objectives, your goals? What's your future ideal scenario look like? And you try to capture all the emotional words from that group of people, because that will help you to create an offer that people actually want to buy, right?
Yes.
Which is a huge mistake people make, is trying to create a huge course. I made this as well, a course during 6 months, and then I tried to put it out for sale, and nobody wanted to buy it. Wasted 6 months of my life. So the ideal scenario is for you to talk to people, interview them first, capture all the emotional words and the things they really want to achieve and get rid of. And then you create your offer around that, right? Like, okay, I solved this specific problem and I can give this transformation. Because that is most likely that you hit the exact point that people want to hear from you, so that they decide to buy. Okay.
Yes. Actually,
so
this is
with that offer in mind, tell me.
Yeah, this is interesting because actually the company that I work for now, we were just talking about this, where our original marketing strategy was around saving money, or we help you save money, but our client base actually was resonating more with us being able to identify for example, duplicate invoices, or identify essentially places in your data where you could be saving money. So then we started to shift our language from just saving money or like cost saving to more like we help you identify pain points in your current systems. And I guess like our target audience resonated more with that language specifically. And so then to shift our marketing strategy more towards those words. And it's just so interesting how like a simple, small shift like that can really help. And it's only through, to your point, interviewing and like really sitting down and understanding what resonates with your exact target audience in terms of language, because with the amount of words and like emotions that we're being inundated with on a regular basis online, you really have to make sure that you're finding the correct key identifying words that resonate with your target audience, because they're being exposed to so many other things that you have to make sure that you're really like hitting them where it hurts specifically.
Yes, exactly. That's absolutely true. And you witnessed it in your company, which is amazing.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
But it's a big trap that most of us fall into, is to stay in our mind behind our computer, trying to create something and praying that people want to buy it, and then it doesn't work. So it's much better for you to actually talk to people, but have real deeper conversation, not just asking generic questions. You try to probe more so that you capture the real emotional words, like imagery, the words people actually use to describe what they're feeling and what they want. Because if you don't reflect exactly that, use the exact words people are using in your offer and your whatever you're offering people, they will feel super identified with you and like, yes, I feel this. I need to solve this problem now, and I want to work with Maddie.
I'm wondering how.
That's
let's say, for example, let's go back to the coffee shop example. Let's say you're working with a client who has a coffee shop and they want to, get more business coming to their coffee shop. And you're like, okay, here's your client market is 25-year-olds who work from home, who want to come to the coffee shop and spend all day at the coffee shop and work, morning until 5 o'clock. How would you ask, like, how do you go about reaching out to this client base? Like, do you DM them on Instagram and then ask them to be in like a focus group, or do you just like, how do you connect with them so it's not weird and you're like really getting to know them, or and getting to understand those pain points, getting to the root of the issue?
Yeah, the way I usually like to do is, first of all, reach out to your current contacts, right? You might have someone that works from home, or have a previous clientele or something. Reach out to them, and an easy way to reach out to them to DMing, or usually DMing is the easiest way. You can find them on your socials, and then just simply say an easy sentence is like, "Hey, I'm creating a new coffee shop, or renewing my coffee shop, and I would love." For exactly this specific audience, like for people who work from home and that want to have the most fun and calm and productive time at coffee. And I would love to have your opinion. So I would love to ask a couple of questions for 10 to 15 minutes. Would you be okay with that? Just to give me your opinion, your feedback. And people love to give their opinions, right? So you will most likely have lots of yeses about that. And especially if it's a short, 10 to 15 minutes, if you focus on that. It's short. I would love to give my opinion. They're creating something that I'm interested in. So let's talk, So you book a Zoom call, or bring the person to your coffee shop and offer him a coffee.
That's what I was going to say.
And ask questions about, that would be a cool idea, right? And ask questions about like, what's your most common frustrations about like all the coffee shops you attend to? What's the biggest obstacles? How do you feel when you're in a coffee shop and you're bothered by all the other noises and or about the bad service or the bad Wi-Fi? You try to uncover what are the main frustrations of those users, and try to ask probing questions like, but how does that make you feel? What does that look like? Tell me a bit more about that. And those probing questions will bring you the most emotional descriptions, the most visual. I hate when the waiter comes to me like 4 or 5 times in a row, and then it disturbs my concentration. I don't know. I'm inventing at this point, but you get the idea that once you reach those emotional words, it's like jackpot. Okay, and then you ask also what would be your ideal scenario, right? So what are the pain points, and then what will be the ideal scenario for you in a coffee shop? What will make you super happy? Like Like if we're talking to your future self and you're super happy, super productive, how would that day look like in a coffee shop? So if you talk to 5-10 people around this topic, you'll get a really cool idea of what they really hate and want. And you'll be able to create exactly what those people want. And then, you just start with those. You go back to after you create your amazing coffee shop, you go back to those 10 people and say, hey, I just opened up. Do you know anyone else who is working, from home and would love to have a cool coffee shop? I have this actual discount for, I don't know, something like that. And so you start to creating some buzz, and they start recommending you to others, and that would be a very good idea for you to start a cool coffee shop.
Because I think also the trap is that when people have a product, their first idea, like if we stick with the coffee shop example, would be for them to then make a bunch of Instagram content of them, making coffee at their coffee shop, showing images of people working there, or being like, oh, come work with me from this coffee shop. And then they post it and they, don't get any traction. They get like a couple hundred views and they're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And I wonder if it's because they're not using these specific words. Like they were simply replicating what others have had in terms of success and hoping that it applies to their business, and being like, oh, well, if that person got 1 million views, then I'll just do the same format, but for my business. And then when it doesn't succeed, they're like, oh, well, the algorithm hates me. And like, I wonder if you have any tips. Yeah. Do you have any tips about, like, so let's say we have all of our great keywords now, we've got like the interviews done, we know what our people want. How do you suggest that they either make content to support them, or if you suggest simply like not even worrying about that and just using what's in your network already?
Yeah, it's a good starting point is you're using your network, but then you will also, of course, would have to expand on growing your audience, etc., to attract new people out of your network. But I would, first of all, I would make sure before all that, I would create a very cool offer, for this specific audience, like that answers all the issues that they don't like from the interviews and all the things they wish they had, and make something like, I don't know, some amazing discount, or we offer you coffee, and then I don't know, amazing, I don't know, something that would I would have to interview those people to know exactly what they would like, but I will make an amazing offer, not just selling coffee, because then you're just another coffee shop with Wi-Fi, right? You have to find some tweak that would differentiate you from all the other coffee shops around, some special offer, some add-on, some I don't know. I would have to talk to people, but first of all, you have to have a cool offer that you know people will say, yes, this is exactly what I need. This is amazing. I want to go there. And also I would create also a referral program, because that's what I focus on a lot with my clients is create a referral program where you compensate people that bring you new clients, right? So I would probably, you'll get free coffees if you bring the new clients, or and even compensate also those new people that would come to you. So you would create this network of effects and this viral effect, right? And very abundant effect around you. And I would have a very cool offer first, and then reward people that bring new clients, and they would work for you, right? So basically your sales team, highly motivated and happy to be helping you, because they love your space, right? That they want to bring their friends, their colleagues, their
they eventually are like, oh, you work from home, like, do I have the place for you? If you don't, because I know a lot of people like aren't productive at home because the TV's right there, like they're still cozy in their sweatpants, like their animals are at home, and so like it's very tricky to stay productive. And then if they're like, oh yeah, like I have a great place if you want to, like, not if you want to, if you work from home but you go to this coffee shop, and they had this awesome referral program where, like, if I bring you, I get like my little coupon book stamped, and then after like 3 friends or something, I get whatever. I don't know what it would be. Like, it probably wouldn't be free coffee, but it would be something along those lines. And then it's like, oh, when you come in, you can get this now. And if you bring 3 more people, and then eventually like your network expands. What do you think about using like social media? How should that be supplementing their business as well?
In terms of social media, I would run away as fast as possible from the just generic, here's our new coffee. We launched this, $3.99 cappuccino. I would run away from those things, and I would focus on telling stories about the clients that are, going to that coffee shop. Exactly emotional stories. How are they feeling when they're there? Like reporting their day, how they're comfortable. They're super productive. How their space. They have also space for presentations or for workshops or I would be focusing totally on telling client stories, because the people watching that on their phones at home, like, shit, this is exactly how I want to feel. Like, I want to feel this sensation that they're feeling. And it is much more pleasant to watch and more engaging and compelling than just seeing another photo of cool, a $3.99 cappuccino. Okay.
Yeah, like you could
So I'd
make a
focus
really
mostly on
cool
telling stories.
Yeah, you can make like a really cool TikTok or an Instagram reel that even if it's just you working in the coffee shop, like it's just B-roll of you like at work helping customers behind the bar, like taking orders, but
Yes.
the whole like background or the story that's being voiced over is like, oh, Tom came in and he was able to work from 9 to 5 and he had like a major sales moment from his business in our coffee shop, and it was such an
Yes.
exciting
Yes.
thing because
Celebrating. Yes.
he's a really great guy and he got a free coffee as a result because he's been coming here for so long. I feel like that would be such a good, I feel like that would be a viral Instagram moment for sure.
Yeah, and probably the whole coffee could be celebrating when some entrepreneur gets a sale. Yeah, another high ticket client,
Yeah,
and they get a
exactly.
free. I don't know. That would
Yeah, yeah.
be cool. That would be cool ideas.
Yeah, or something like that, just to like tell the story that's happening like while you're, working in your coffee shop. And it's like, you could have your next big moment, like, and you could share it with all these other people who work from home in a great environment that's comfortable and facilitates that kind of experience. Like, I mean, thinking about it right now, like I would like that. I would share that like as an Instagram post. Sure. I want to go to this place. Maybe
Right?
in the wrong field. Maybe I shouldn't be a podcaster anymore and I should just open up this work from home coffee situation.
Yeah, that would compete with the co-sharing, co-working spaces as well, right?
Yeah.
So, like you're competing and attracting people from different, spheres, different.
Yeah, it would
Cool.
actually be
It would
really
be an
fun.
amazing idea.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm getting ahead of myself now because I'm like, oh, think about all the different people of walks of life that could come and be a part of this space. Like, I think I got to write this down. This might be like my retirement dream right here that we're discussing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Great idea.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm offline. But what other tips do
Other
you have?
tips around. So my approach, So my approach is mostly this: of talking to people, creating an amazing offer, that has to be solving a now problem that people have, and they feel that they need to get rid of this or a specific goal that they really want to reach and reach now. It cannot be interesting problem. Okay, good to know. Because if it's not a now urgent problem, people just don't buy and they postpone and procrastinate, etc. And you have to be super specific about the outcome, right? You will reach this that you really want to reach, right? So those two areas I think are really crucial for you too. The offer is basically everything, because if you have an amazing offer, selling is going to be very easy. If you sell something that like, I don't know, help me clean my garage and take everything that you want from it. There's very valuable things there. You can clean it, and I just want to get rid of my garage, and I have very valuable items there. So most people will say yes to this offer, right? It's got like a no-brainer. But if I say, oh, go clean my garage, and then just wipe it all clean, and I'm not going to give you anything.
Yeah.
One offer is very different from the other, and it's very easy to easy yes, right? So if you reach that point where you have something amazing to give, and that people actually really want to do, that makes your life very easy. So that's the main point. And then the referral thing, which is like make people work for you, basically. If you compensate people that bring you new clients, like that's an amazing way for you to live. You depend less and less on marketing, and you're not constantly looking for new clients and new clients and clients. You do the best possible to please your current clients, incentivize them to bring you more clients like them, right? And that makes you a very, very smooth and cool business. And then use social media for telling stories. Don't just be that guy that's saying, these are the 5 things you should think about when, or these are the 5 mistakes.
Yeah, if I hear somebody
that people is already noise.
It's like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm gonna keep scrolling. I don't need your 3 tips.
Exactly. Nobody likes teachers. I mean, I didn't like teachers when I was a kid. I didn't like them. So nobody likes to be teach and told what to do all the time,
Yes.
right? That's especially nowadays. It's always
Because
noise, and everyone does the same. If you look at Instagram, it's like all the same carousels, the same 5 tips, reels. Oh my god! So if you focus on telling stories, I think it's the most interesting idea for you to start approaching people from your world. And then I love to use the kind of hand raising posts, which are like conversation starters. You say, "Hey, I'm looking for like 5 people who would be interested in joining in a coffee shop." And if you're this, and this, let me know in the comments below, and I'll send you all the details. Those kind of posts are interesting because people raise their hands, the ones that are looking to buy now, right? And then you have an excuse to interact with them, talk to them. Again, talking to people, see what is their problem, if they qualify for your offer, and then simply say, "Hey, do you want some help with that? I have something for you."
yeah, and it's nice
So that's
because
the easy way again to use your current audience.
yeah, and you're not asking them to buy anything. You're asking them to
Yeah,
be
exactly.
willing to answer some questions. And like I think what you said earlier is such a key point, is to give their opinion. You're not asking them to buy anything, but to your point, people love to give their opinion on stuff. And as opposed to being like, even like asking for feedback, I feel like sometimes is a deterrent, or like people, it's just easy for them to be like, nah, I don't want to do that. It's a lot of time. But if you're like, oh, please, like, share your opinion, people are like, oh, finally, I'm so glad you asked. I've been wanting to tell somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And then you don't have to sell to those people. Like you said at the beginning, you just ask, "Do you know anyone who will be interested in this?" And
Yeah.
you're not selling directly to that person, but most likely, if she likes the offer, they'll say, "Yeah, actually, I'm also interested in it. I would like to join."
One question I did have about something that you said was, you said like a solution that's not urgent. Could you give an example of like a not now solution that people would have?
Yeah, for example, in the weight loss industry, like it's very common for you to say, "Yeah, lose 10 kilos in the next, I don't know, 2 months or 1 month."
Okay.
That's already something that people. It's very generic nowadays, right? It's everyone promises the same. People
Mhm.
tried multiple diets all the time, nothing worked. People, those kind of offers are already kind of okay. 10
Yeah.
kilos, I will get those kilos back, eventually.
Right.
But if you focus on something that is more a now problem for that person, like when you go upstairs and your knees are hurting and you have to stop in the middle of stairs because I don't know, it's like your joints are like destroying you, or something about back pain. When you're working out from home and your back is like destroying you. Basically, you're able to talk about something that is a now problem, which is a reflection of their bad lifestyle, right? They're overweight somehow. They're not moving too much, and that impacts on their the joints, the back pain, etc. So if you focus on something that you can see that they need now, and then once they say, "Yes, I need this because I'm feeling this right now, I need to solve this now, this problem," and then you have the possibility to solve the other problems inside your offer, but you're not selling exactly to lose 10 kilos. It will be a consequence of working with you, right? So
Ah.
that's kind of how I would differentiate some like a now problem, or like I said, like another example, relationship. Improve your relationship with your husband. So that would be a generic offer, not super now problem. That's not very clear, not very obvious. Versus, saying something like, avoid how to avoid divorce when things are like looking impossible to solve. That would be a now problem, right? Versus saying you're just a relationship coach about marriage. You're narrowed down to something that they need to solve now. So those are the
Yeah.
problems that people are really to like, hey, please take my credit card.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it's like you're almost, even before you get to the marketing point of being like, how do I, like, you have, here's my solution, right? Like maybe you're a coach, or maybe you have some sort of like retreat, right? And you're like, as opposed to saying that this, which is what it technically will do, right? Is that this retreat will solve your marital problems. Instead of saying,
Yes.
my solution will improve your marriage, you should instead say like, you're almost like creating urgency in the problem as well as in the marketing strategy. So like it's a
Yes.
full encompass.
Yes.
It's very interesting because you're just sort of like switching the timeline for your solution. It's not like you're actually changing anything. You're not like creating an entirely different
Yeah.
solution. You're
Your
just
solution is basically almost the same. Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Just the way you position it is different, right?
Yeah. And I think this is very helpful for a lot of people because I think positioning yourself is like really one of the biggest and most key factors to creating a solid marketing strategy. Because if you don't know, to your point, who your audience is and what problem of theirs you solve very clearly, it's hard to create urgency around your solution and why people should come
Yeah.
to you specifically. And then I think even further, creating urgency throughout the entire process is another important factor because people will lose interest or they're like, oh, well, it's something I can get later. I don't need to do it right now. And like,
Yeah.
that's when you lose people.
Exactly. That's completely true. So you creating, like you said, you create the urgency by design of your offer, right? You don't need to do this. You just have 5 more days until you make a decision. You don't need to do those high pressure, urgency and scarcity games. But if you include it in your offer by design, like solving a very urgent problem, it's much more easier for you to sell that solution. And many people, I included, I was afraid of this. But if I focus on such a specific problem, won't I lose all these other clients, right? But that's like an illusion because if you try to be very generic and bland, like I said, you're not going to please anyone specifically, and so it's going to be hard for you to capture anyone. I usually give this example of a big fishing net. If I have a river right here in front of me, so if I try to capture all the fish with my huge fishing net with huge holes, most of the fish will go through, right? And you're not going to capture almost anyone. While if you focus on a specific, I don't know how you say a group of fish in English. There's probably a name, a group of fish. If you capture with the smaller nets, with smaller holes, you'll capture all of that group. It's all yours. So that's the kind of a cool way to see it. That I mean, you'll lose. Yes, you're not going to attract everyone, but almost nobody can. Only big corporations like Coca-Cola. But you'll capture a specific group of people. Most of them will feel very identified with you, and then you know exactly how to take them from A to B because they're all the same. They share the same context, same needs, same objectives. So, and it's easier for you to sell, to create content for them, and also to create a program because you know exactly how to help them, almost as a factory. Like I can take them from here to here in 6 weeks, and then I know that they will get the results. So.
Yeah, like for my podcast, for example, if I wanted to market it, it would be great for me to say, I can solve like at least one of your problems right now if you listen to this episode, right? Like, for example, our marketing episode, like you're struggling potentially marketing for your business. Like, I could solve that for you right now. Like, you just listen to this episode, and I guarantee you'll have learned something to help you in your journey, as opposed to saying, like, I mean, I don't know what the alternative to that would be now that I'm saying it, but just being like, oh, you should listen to this episode because it's a
Here's
good
an episode where we talk about generic marketing or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Specific. Yeah, exactly. So like it's almost like my solution has now like an urgency around it because I'm like, oh, you're struggling today. Well, I can solve your problems today.
Yes, exactly. And mostly, well, problems, it's already a bit, you're trying to solve anything. If you're even more specific, like if you're struggling to sell your current offer, you're trying to put all the, so much content and you're trying to pay ads, but nothing's working. This episode might be very helpful for you. I think that's even more specific, right?
Great. Yeah, good feedback.
That's a now problem.
That's great. Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's helpful. Well, do you have any really cool stories from like your current business right now that has like maybe somebody came to you and they've seen, massive increase in sales as a result of working with you? I always love to hear like specific stories.
Yeah, definitely. I've been focused mostly in Portugal in the last 3 years. I'm just only starting now my internationalization process. So yeah, Portuguese clients mostly. But yeah, I can tell the example of Lourdes. She was a career coach, and she was struggling. She was using Google Ads to bring contact form leads for her, but she was losing a lot of time in those one-on-one unqualified leads. And she had a very generic offer. Like, again, she was trying to solve, all your career problems. So what we did with her is like, okay, let's focus on creating a specific offer for a group of people, more specific, like mid-level management, something. I think it was that, but the case. And then instead of her doing one-on-one, which is losing too much time as well, let's create a group program where you can help this group, specific group of people, solve a now problem and get the result. And so that made a whole difference at the beginning. And then also what I like to do in terms of anti-marketing is, okay, let's use your current assets. What's your contact list, your follower list, and email list? And we can use those to see if we can find already those ideal clients who we just identified now and created a program around. And she used one of a set of those hand-raising posts, like I'm looking for 5 people, 5 specific people who want to reach a specific goal. And she was able to easily extract it was 5 people in 2 weeks. And she was able to close them, and she made like 4,000 euros, which is in Portugal is a lot of money. Okay, 4,000 euros in 2 weeks, just extracting her from her audience, customers that she was struggling to find in Google Ads and spending a lot of money, just by creating a cool offer for a specific group of people and using these hand-raising posts. It's easy for you to extract your ideal clients out of your current assets. That's an interesting approach that it worked.
Yeah. Well, that's so super helpful. There's so many really amazing tips in here. And I think that was a perfect way to close the episode, because I think this is like a jam-packed one full of super actionable takeaways for everyone. Like, I know I'm already thinking about a million things I could work on right now that I'm going to take away from this episode. So Tiago, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I think that this is going to help a lot of people.
Thank you so much, Matt. It was a real pleasure. Yeah, I hope people find some value out of this.